Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, and today I'll be discussing the things that you need to keep in track while playing ISO in order to properly play this agent and have an effective impact in ranked lobbies. Now before ISO, I used to play a lot of Reyna and Race for duelists, but over the time, I gave ISO a chance and he's been my favorite agent ever since. Simply because of the simple yet one of the strongest ability kits in the game in my opinion. So without any delay, let me give you a small run through of the abilities of ISO. ISO's double tap basically gives you a small temporary yet super strong shield, all while slightly reducing your reload time. So if you look at this, my classic or my weapons are being reloaded faster than the usual time. So this shield can absorb one hit from the enemy before exposing your health to the enemy. Be it a leg shot to a result, it'll tank it all, and that's why I really love this ability so much because it turns around a lot of fights. And if you get a kill during double tap being active or get an assist, you'll get an orb that you can shoot to reset your shield. So this is one of the best ways in order to take any fights when playing ISO is just you pop your shield, you take a fight, you win the fight, you shoot the orb and you can reset your shield and you can keep doing this or as long as you're getting kills. Now, the second ability of ISO is Undercut. He simply throws a shard in a straight line, covering some area in which if an ally or an enemy comes into, they are left vulnerable. Hence, they'll be taking increased amount of damage, which makes it far easier to finish off enemies or even get a few cheeky kills while spamming through a smoke. So, let me just give you a small scenario of how you could probably use it. Say you're playing lane on B side in defense, right? You could probably have your Sova or anybody else who can throw some sort of damaged projectile. You can just stand here and just throw it right here through B main. It will cover most of the B main area, and through this you can actually damage the enemy quite a bit, and you can get off a few kills during the start of the round itself. Now, ISO's third ability, his wall, which is also known as contingency, also simply travels in a straight line and blocks all the bullets in the line of sight. So something that we need to keep in mind is that it can only tank bullets and not any projectiles or abilities such as a Raze nade or a Sova's dart, shock dart, or probably a Raze's ultimate or anything like that. It will not be able to block any such things, but it can block the enemy's bullets. So what you can use this is for yourself to give cover while you're trying to enter a site. Say if you're just trying to enter from B, right, and mostly your controller is going to smoke market, and then the problem is that you can have probably two angles, this CT and stairs, where people are probably going to hold in order to get you off guard. So what you can do is simply throw off a wall here. This gives you so much cover here. Either you can go off to switch or you can simply just go off to lane. So using this wall also gives you a good cover in order to enter a site. Or say if you're using in a post plant decision, right, and you want to defend yourself while you're defusing the spike. Say the spike is planted anywhere somewhere here, so that the enemy can directly have a direct line of sight look at the spike, right? And if you want to protect yourself while you at least half the spike, you can just simply pop your wall and then defuse the spike here for as long as you want, and then you can just back off and try to take another fight, see if you can win the round. So finally, we'll talk about ISO's ultimate, which is Kill Contract. ISO slams his ult on the ground, covering a huge part of the map, and the first enemy that gets caught into it is basically summoned into a 1v1 chamber. So during this phase, neither ISO nor the enemy can use any of their abilities, but how ISO gets an upper hand in the situation is that first we can pop our shield and then we can take somebody in ult, and our shield will still be active while in the ultimate chamber. So this is one of the best ways in order for you to initiate any fight, and this hugely increases your chances of winning in your ultimate 1v1. Alright, so that was it for the run through of the abilities. Now I'm going to give you small tips or small methods that you can use while playing ISO. Say you're gonna attack first, right? So let's just cover the few basics of attacking using ISO on B side. So you're gonna probably walk up main. The first thing that you need to do is that whenever you're trying to peek this angle, either you can simply just jump spot this angle, or if you really want to take a fight, you're feeling confident in your aim, start off with a shield. You can probably take a fight here, win this, reset your shield, and then you can simply check this angle again. And now once you're here, you can just ask your controller to smoke a few points such as market or CT and stairs as well, right? So you can just pop your shield as I discussed earlier, clear these angle, move on to switch, close this area, and then either go to lane Or you could also simply move up to this area, try to hold a closer angle, or you can simply walk up to stairs, cover these angles, and then you can simply throw your abilities or something, or simply just go on, you know, use your shield as a leverage to clear boathouse and then secure a plant for your team. Now, let's say if you are going to attack on A side, let's just quickly go up to A side. Yeah, there we go. So now either there's two things that you can do is that if you have enough comms with your team, either you can first start off, try to jump spot somebody in mid. If there's anybody in mid and you're confident in your aim, you could try to take a fight, but in a way that your teammate can trade you, because if you die in mid, you are obviously going to put your team under a lot of pressure because the duelist is already dead in the first place. So say you're gonna just have a conventional path in the start of the round itself. One way that you can counter any operator or any person who's going to scope hold this area is to first throw your undercut here instead of simply dry peeking or even using a shield at some points, because many times what can happen is one guy is going to hold this place and another enemy is going to push up here, or he's going to go wine. So you might have to just swing and have to face two people at once, and then even your shield won't be able to save you as per. So during the start of the round, just simply throw an undercut, pop your shield, and then you should decide to take which angle are you going to take a fight at. This is something that you definitely are going to do before while having a talk with your team. If you're going to peek here, if you're going to check vines, or if you're going to check close right, the teammates can check the other angles as well. So once you're done with this, now mostly if there's a cipher on the other team, or is there, let's say if there's a chamber, he's going to play B side as well, right? So you can expect a few trips or something as well. Then what for in that situation, what you can do is simply first try to walk up to this area using your controller's smokes. Try to spot out a way where you can break the cipher strip, or use a raise nade or Sova's shock dart in order to get one of the trips. And then what you can do is that simply either one of the enemy sentinels is either going to play behind Jen, or is going to play close right, or is going to play behind this Radianite. So one way that you can protect yourself while entering this place is simply throw up the contingency, sorry, not contingency, the undercut on Radianite. Throw out a wall here. This is only after the trips have been taken down, of course, because if you're going to enter this site, the problem while entering a site on ascent is that you are going to have a lot of open angles that you're going to get exposed to, which can simply result in you getting one tapped or just like deleted as such. So there's multiple people. One could play this angle, one could play this angle, one could play near tree. There's going to be one guy who's going to hold Gen, one that could be hiding here, one could be here or here. So like there's way too many angles. Oh, and also there's people playing heaven or behind this box, right? Including under heaven as well. So the first thing, you need to isolate at least one place from where they cannot shoot you, at least momentarily. Throw out your wall. You can either just go here, close door, and obviously this is if you're having a shield. That's the best case scenario. Say if you've switched off this place and you've blocked out this area for the enemy, you can simply go up to this place, try to clear Gen, check under heaven, and after that you can try to secure a plant, and then you could probably hold this angle in order to catch any sort of rotation off guard. So this is it for when you're trying to attack on ascent. Now say if you're playing on defense, right? So I'm just going to start off on A as well. Now if you're going to play heaven as ISO, the problem is that say if the enemy is going to push from this part, right? If you can't take too many fights, because if you're going to swing a little bit more, you'll get exposed through so many angles. You'll have to deal with multiple people who are going to stand up here, somebody who could just simply rush around to switch. So you're going to have to take too many fights, and that reduces your chances of winning any fight in the first place. So here, when you're going to play heaven, it's better to have an approach where you play with the team, right? What you can do is, if you hear the enemy coming, or if you have the comms that they're going to push A, you can simply first throw off your undercut. Now this will vulnerable the enemy. They are going to take a lot of more damage, and then this undercut will actually help the other person who's going to play site with you, or is going to play tree with you, to try and get a few picks. And once they have started to take a fight, you can swing out a little, probably get a few picks, fall back, then you can jump or jiggle to figure out what the enemy is doing next. Or let's say if you're going to play tree, so obviously this is one of the most common angles that you're going to play while playing tree. So I would not suggest dry picking any of these angles, because either there's going to be a multiple angle, or you could might have, an operator if you don't have a shield, and then that's just going to get you killed. So it's mostly suggested that if you're playing this kind of angle as ISO, always have a shield online, and once you get a kill, either you can just simply jiggle this area a little bit, check if there's anybody peeking here, and then fall back and try to play with your team. Or you could simply just hold here, this spot, and during the start of the round itself, you could throw your undercut, and if there's anybody who's going to play this angle from your team, they can get an early pick from A main, from somewhere to the start of the A lobby. This is it for defending A. And say if you're playing market or pizza, well, pizza is something that just about any agent can play. There's nothing special that ISO needs to do while playing this angle. So yeah, if you're going to play market, what you can do here is simply hold on to these angles, or you can hold on to this angle in the start of the round itself with your shield. Because let's say if there's an enemy who's going to peek this area, even though he's going to expect you, you're going to have your shield first, and then they'll just have to shoot you extra number of times more than you will have to, and then you can simply win your fight. And then you can throw an undercut here or throw an undercut here, in order for the second person who's going to come and trade you to simply make them fall off, and then you can make your own distance from this place while walking back like this, or holding these angles and holding these angles, and then fall back to market, or then you could fall back to CT as well. Now finally, for B, the best way for you to play as ISO on B is either you hold this angle, not too close to the wall, because it's going to expose you before you can expose the enemy to any sort of damage. Do not do that. Stay a little back from the wall, play these angles. You're going to have one person who's going to play market, then you can play here, or you could play near switch. So you could stand over here or stand over here, and you can simply try and get a few picks off, throw undercut here, take another fight. The undercut is definitely used in order for you to increase your chances of winning a fight, but it's also used for the enemy to make them back off, right? Because if they're going to get vulnerable, they will not instantly rush or swing again, because they know that they'll just die in half the number of shots than usual. Or you could simply play logs here, try to get a few picks with your shield. They're not going to peek you again and again, since they know that your shield is active. Or if you want to play inside market, again, there's a very common angle that you can play, a rather risky one, but with ISO, the risks of playing this angle get slightly reduced. So these were just some small tips that you can use while playing ISO in order to have some impact in ranked lobbies. Now keep in mind that the things that I told you were not specifically in the frame of reference of the Ascent map itself. The methods or the ways that I told you to approach sites or defend them can equally be applicable on other maps as well. So you can use this kind of a playstyle on other maps as well where ISO is viable. So this was it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. And if this was of any value for you guys and it helped you guys in any way, do let me know in the comment section, and I'll be happy to help you guys in the same form of videos to come in the future. I'll see you guys in the next one. Till then, take care.